Good evening and welcome to the meeting of Mid Sussex District Full Council on today, Wednesday the 25th of February. My name is Mike Kennedy. It's my privilege to be the chair of the council. Sitting on my right hand side is Councillor Christine Cherry, who is my vice chair, or our vice chair. And on my left is Catherine Hall, Chief Executive of the council. And around us we have cabinet members and officers who are assisting us today. Can I begin by asking our Vice Chairman to begin with an opening prayer? Could you please stand if you're able to?
Strengthen us through difficulties and pressures, and guide us in our deliberations, so that we may act in the interests of all in our district, to the glory of your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Item 2 of the agenda. This is where we receive questions from members of the public pursuant to the Council Procedure Rule number 9. We have 15 minutes allocated for this item. We have 5 questions. There are 5 questioners. One of them, unfortunately, Mr. Norris, cannot be here, so I will read his question out as the last question of those to be put to the council. Could I invite the first questioner, Mr. Kenwood, who I believe is here, to step forward to the public speaker seat and to put his question.
Good evening, everybody. My question. During Cabinet deliberations on the Hayward Community Kicks bid for Clare Hall, members stated that they would have welcomed further clarity, information and supporting documentation to address perceived ambiguities. Given these concerns were expressed at the meeting, can the Council explain why no questions were raised with the kick in advance of Cabinet, despite officers having held the relevant documentation since early December 2025? Additionally, can the Council explain why, unlike the community proposals considered in 2024, AVC bidders weren't granted meetings with the technical panel, particularly when that panel also had questions regarding the KIC's submission?
Thank you, Mr. Kenwood. Councillor Hobbs from the Cabinet is going to answer this question.
The leader.
Oh, forgive me. The leader is going to answer the question.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Kenwood, for your question. And I'm responding as leader because I chaired the Cabinet meeting that considered the ACV. The process is a statutory process, so it differs from the approach that the Council and Cabinet took in 2024. The AVC process gives the community 6 months to submit bids. In this case, only one bid was received. It was thoroughly assessed by the Council's technical experts, officers, the cross-party steering group and the Cabinet. The statutory process was adhered to and concluded with the Cabinet's decision of the 2nd of February.
Thank you, Councillor Eccleston. Mr. Kenwood, you have the option, if you wish, to ask a supplementary question, which, if it can be answered here and now, I hope will be. If not, it will be, you'll be given a written answer fairly quickly.
Yes, I do have a supplementary question. Okay, yes. The leader is right. AVC legislation itself doesn't give the bidders a formal right to respond to the council's points it may have. However, but moving on to public law expectations and the principles around fair process and transparency, what would usually be expected would be the council to seek clarification or give a right of reply before any final decision. In practice, what this means is when councillors and officers raise concern about a bid's assumptions, viability or specific points, due process suggests that the bidder should be given an opportunity to address those concerns before any final vote or decision. And this is
Mr.
especially
Kenwood,
the
forgive me
case
for interrupting.
when, sorry,
Mr.
I haven't
Kenwood,
finished.
no, I'm sorry as
The
well.
bidder did
You are
not know
supposed to
the
be asking a
concerns
question.
existed. I am getting to my question,
Well, could you
Mr.
get there
Chairman.
fairly quickly, please?
So we didn't know these concerns existed. So in the realms of acting fairly, does the leader believe that the Haywards community kick were treated fairly under due fair process and being transparent? Because until the cabinet meeting, when we were sat in the public gallery with no right to reply or address, that was the first time we knew of that any concerns existed. And you know perfectly well, this council knows perfectly well that we are quite amenable to sitting down and discussing quite rationally over a table points of concern, even adopting new ideas.
What was
So
your question,
why,
Mr. Kenwood?
the question was, does the leader think we were treated fairly, or the Kicks bid was treated fairly?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Would the leader care to answer that now or in
Yes,
writing?
thank you. The short answer is yes, but as you've raised in your comments and questions, matters that would touch into the legal domain, we will arrange to give you a more detailed written reply.
Thank you. The second question is from Mr. Anton, who I also believe is here. Mr. Anton, would you care to ask your question, please?
Good evening. The Council has announced a 4-screen cinema, restaurant and multi-use performance and community facility for the Clare Hall site, alongside with 2 blocks of flats proposed by the developer. Please would the Council provide a detailed site plan showing how all of these elements are going to fit within the site, including building footprints, heights, access, servicing, parking and public space.
Thank you, Mr. Anton. Who is to answer this question? Mr. Councillor Hobbs?
Yep.
Thank you very much for your question. I'm responding to this as Cabinet Member with responsibility for the Council's land holdings. The procurement process to select a developer has only just started and no plans currently exist for the site. Site plans will be produced in dialogue with potential developers during the procurement process.
Councillor Hobbs, thank you. Mr. Anton, do you have a supplementary question?
That answered one supplementary question. So I guess, is there any time scale projected for this at all that you can share with us?
Can you answer that now or not?
I can do. The procurement process was detailed in the Cabinet papers that were part of that meeting. From recollection, I think the procurement is intended to finish in the autumn of this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anton. And the third question is from Ms. Wilcock, please.
Thank you. As I understand the scheme that's now being accepted by the council is proposing to transfer the Clare Hall site to a developer for housing in exchange for delivering the cinema and cultural facilities. Linking these elements together creates a risk if either of those two parties underperforms, potentially leaving residents to bear the consequences. Please, can you provide details of the risk assessment covering this potential scenario and confirm whether it's been signed off by your Section 151 officer, and what is the quantified worst case financial liability to the council and residents if the scheme fails, and where is this formally documented, please?
Thank you. And Councillor Hobbs to answer this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Again, I'm responding as a Cabinet Member with responsibility for the Council's land holdings. The procurement process to select a developer has just started, and therefore the terms of the disposal of the site are not yet determined. The purpose of the procurement process is to move risk away from the Council.
Do you have a supplementary, Ms. Wilcock?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm so sorry I couldn't hear the reply, but in any event, I did want to ask a supplementary question, which is, can you please confirm that there will be no call on public funds to support either the operator or in due course the residential developer?
I don't know whether you can answer that, Councillor Hobbs?
I think I can give you my first answer, which is probably relative in the sense that the procurement process to select a developer has only just started, and therefore the terms of the disposal are not yet determined. The purpose of the procurement process is to move risk away from the council.
Thank you, Mr Wilcox.
Says it all. Thank you.
The next question that we have is from Councillor Stokes, I think, who is going to ask a question.
Yes, this is regarding the transfer of Rocky Lane wards to Haywards Heath Town from Anstine Staplefield. Chairman and councillors, in determining the community governance review under the principles set out in the Local Government and Public Involvement in Health Act of 2007, the key tests are whether the outcome reflects community identity and delivers effective local governance. Given that the consultation responses from the estate concerned favoured remaining within the parish, that all three councillors support that position, and that residents currently enjoy stronger representation within the parish than they would within the Ashen Ground ward of Haywards Heath, how does transferring the estate better reflect the community's identity and interests and improve effective and convenient local governance for those residents?
Thank you. Councillor Eggleston?
Yes, thank you, Councillor Stokes, for your question this evening. I also acknowledge that you have submitted further comment on the proposals in an email shared via Councillor Marsh to all members last week. The final recommendations of the Community Governance Review are to be considered this evening under item 8 of the agenda, and I would therefore not wish to preempt the debate by commenting further at this stage. I'm sure your question and associated comments will be taken into consideration by all members and covered during the course of the debate on this item.
Do you have a supplementary question?
Well, I do. It's really simply to emphasise further what I've said, and merely to say that whatever advantage that...
I'm not asking you for a statement. I'm asking if you've got a supplementary question.
Yes, my supplementary question would be, however this may advantage Haywards Heath Town Council, it threatens the viability of Anstine Staplefield Parish Council, and that cannot be for anybody's benefit.
That's not a question.
Yes, I agree. Oh, sorry, I would ask the council to agree with that statement. Thank you for all the prompting.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Is there an answer for that?
If I may help you, I mean, I would say, I refer to my answer to the first question, which is that we will be debating this matter under item 8, and I'm sure members have different views on the subject, and I'm sure those views will be aired during the course of the debate, and we will then vote accordingly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stokes. The fifth and final question from the members of the public is from a Mr. Norris, who I think I said earlier can't be here. So I've agreed to read out his question, and Councillor Hobbs, I hope, is going to provide an answer. The question is this: I'm writing on behalf of residents whose properties back onto the new gated council compound to store waste collection vehicles. Concerns are: how long temporary? The negative financial impact on the value of their properties, loss of access to rear of their properties for maintenance, emergency services being unable to reach these properties quickly due to locked gates. Could Council please respond to the following? What impact assessment was carried out before approving this facility in such close proximity to homes, and was planning permission obtained? Will Council meet with residents to cover, I think he means, to cover these concerns? Councillor Hobbs.
Thank you. The introduction of a district-wide food waste collection in Mid-Sussex follows a mandate from central government that all residential properties must receive food waste collections by March 2026. To deliver the statutory requirement, the council had to find additional space to park the new fleet of collection vehicles. This car park was selected because it is already in use as a car park, so did not require planning permission, and therefore offered the most practical and cost-effective solution for this temporary use whilst a permanent facility is put in place. The decision followed detailed internal assessment, including consultation with environmental health and planning officers, and Serco's use of the site is supported by agreed protocols around noise and odour management, among other things. The council must balance the needs of all residents and deliver on the statutory requirements set by central government, and we recognise that not all operational decisions will be universally popular. Good progress is being made on the development of a new permanent site elsewhere in the district. This will be fully operational in early 2027. We are committed to delivering that project as a priority to minimise the time the vehicles will be parked at Oaklands.
Thank you, Councillor Hobbs. Thank you, lady and gentlemen, for your questions. And I can move on now, I hope, to item 3 on the agenda, which is to be agreed by general affirmation the minutes of our previous meeting held on the 24th of September last year. Can we agree those? I think we have a question first from Councillor Henwood.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that we cannot change previous minutes, but because there were inaccuracies to some of the answers to the public questions from the meeting on December the 10th, could it be recorded in this minutes for this meeting, the correct response? There were at least 4 inaccuracies of a response to the public
I think
questions.
we're talking, sorry to cut across you, but we're talking about the minutes of the meeting.
Yes, yes,
And
sir.
I know you wrote to me pointing out what you felt was misinformation. Now, the accuracy of the minutes is beyond doubt. I've listened to the video of the actual recording. The minutes are a verbatim record of what was said. And I think you agree that.
Yes, yes, Chairman, I agree.
And I think the information that you say is not accurate has been covered in a subsequent meeting, and you're aware of that, isn't that right?
But the minutes of the district council are open into the public realm. So other meetings have not got the same exposure. But I feel like the minutes of a district council in the public realm have wider exposure, and it would be important for the public to appreciate the corrections the corrections to the response, to the answers, Chairman. That's what I'm thinking. A wider response. We are the district council.
I understand your point, but what we're trying to establish now is effectively to agree that the minutes are an accurate record of what was said.
Okay.
And that's right. So
yes,
you would agree to that?
I agree, Chairman.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is follow it up so that the minutes of this meeting will reflect the correction to the inaccuracies. That's what I'm asking, that these minutes could record so that we could respond now, after we agree to the minutes, we could respond and put forward the 4 corrections from...
Well, I don't want to have a debate on whether those corrections are accurate or not. I don't think that this is the right forum for that.
Well, I did ask you, Chairman, what was the right forum. I have pursued this, and I was seeking the right forum.
I thought you'd
previously.
been given the answer to that question already.
No, I hadn't. I had not. I'd only been kind of said, just forget it.
I don't think anybody said that to you.
I don't mean to belay the point, but I did seek for a procedure to follow, but there is no procedure.
Okay, you've made your point, I think. But for me, as I say, I went right through the video and followed the minutes as recorded, and they are verbatim what was said at the time. So they're accurate from my perspective. Although, as you say, there may be some inaccuracies in what was said, but not in what was said at the meeting, which is what the minutes are a record of. Can we agree the minutes of the meeting, please? Agree. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Eaves, I didn't see you.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I've just wondered whether we could put a footnote in the minutes of the last council meeting, just in case the public are misled by what they read.
Well, I think what has been said in this meeting will be minuted. So I think that will be the footnote, effectively. I don't think we can go back and put footnotes in minutes of a meeting when the particular issue was not raised in that meeting.
No. Okay.
Okay, can we perhaps move on? Item 4 on the agenda is to receive any declarations of interest from members in respect of any item or matter that is on this agenda this afternoon or this evening. Can I go first to a number of councillors who have asked to speak? Councillor Russell first, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just declaring myself as a member of West Sussex County Council in relation to agenda item 7.
Thank you. And next, Councillor Ellis.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to say I'm a member of Hayward Heath Town Council in reference to item 8. Thank you.
And Councillor Lucroft.
Yes, I'm also a member of Hayward Heath Town Council.
And Councillor DeBell.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm also a member of West Sussex County Council on that item.
Thank you. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Chairman. I've been scared into saying that I'm also a member of West Sussex County Council. However, I am also a member of East Grinstead Town Council. Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to confess to? Councillor Rees is next.
Councillor Wood's next, I think.
Sorry, Councillor Wood, you are next.
That's right.
I thought it would be ladies
Yeah, for
first.
item 8, I'd like to declare that obviously I'm a part of Linfield Parish Council as well as the district member for Linfield.
Thank you. Now, Councillor Rees, forgive me.
Thank you. Also, Chair, I'd like to respect to item 7 and then we'll pay.
Thank you. Councillor Cook.
Thank you. In regards to item 8, I'm a member of Hayward Heath Town Council.
And finally, Councillor Bashar. Oh, not finally.
Yeah, I'm a town council as well as Hayward Town Council.
Thank you, Councillor Bashar. Now, it's Councillor Platts.
Oh, yes, no.
If you can't stand, don't
That's
trouble.
all right. I just say I'm a member of the Hayward Heath Town Council as well.
Thank you very much indeed. That seems to be everybody, unless anyone else has confessions or admissions. Good, that completes item 4 on our agenda. I'm grateful for those members who've declared. And moving on to item 5, this is to consider any items that the chairman agrees to take as urgent business. And there are none, as far as I know. Which brings me on to chairman's announcements. Now, I've been to a number of events. I'm not going to go into them in detail. One was the annual meeting of the British Legion for Sussex, which was a very impressive event, I thought. I was very pleased to see Councillor Rex Walker there as well. It was a very interesting event for me, and interesting to see how much, or amazing to see how much money is raised by the Poppy Appeal, amongst a number of other things they discussed. I've also been to the, or one of the events held by the High Sheriff, Dr. Tim Fuchs. He's held a series of events on mental health across the whole of West Sussex to raise the awareness of the issue and to make a report. He had his final meeting in Burgess Hill, which I and a number of people attended, both from the County Council, the Town Council and the District Council. It's a hugely impressive event that he runs, and as I say, he's run it in at least a dozen areas around the county of West Sussex. He's produced a report which has made a series of recommendations, which if you haven't got a copy of, I recommend you try and get a look at, because it is really important. And it's an issue that affects us all in some ways. We've seen what's happened with mental patients who have not been properly dealt with on a number of occasions, happily, as far as I know, not in West Sussex, but around the country. Details of other events that I've attended are on the website if you are in need of an idle moment to fill. The last item I'd like to mention is my charity supporting Macmillan Cancer Care. I don't think it's been done, certainly in the recent past, but I'm going to organise a quiz evening to which you will all be invited with your better halves. It'll be on Friday, the 17th of April. I'll be sending a circular around about that. I do hope as many as possible can attend that evening. We can move now on to item 7, I hope, which is our corporate plan and budget for 26-27, which begins at page 15 of the documents that you have on your screens or in hard copy. Can I ask Councillor Eggleston to propose this, please?
You can, Chairman, and thank you very much. So the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted the changes in the bottom line figures in the medium-term financial plan, MTFP, between its consideration by Scrutiny Committee and Cabinet and the MTFP before us today. I expect my colleague, Councillor Hicks, will provide some of that granular detail. But to suffice it to say, whilst there is a marginally better outcome for 26-27, there is now a deficit of £949,000 forecast for 27-28 and £2.09 million for 28-29, each broadly £1 million worse than the original provisional settlement from the government. These, though, pale when compared to the £6.4 million deficit for 29-30. So much for the government's fair funding review. These numbers are real now and not the best estimates we had in the past. They make for sober reading. Officers, staff and members, all of us, operate in an environment of increased costs, additional government burdens, increased service demands, a squeeze on income, and now the costs of local government reorganisation. We can be forgiven for feeling like Sisyphus, rolling an immense boulder up a hill in Hades, only for it to roll back down again, so forcing him to repeat this action for eternity. Thankfully, officers manage these challenges well, and we too, as members, are taking decisions to protect our financial position. In doing this, we need to be mindful of the Section 151 officers' advice on the appropriate levels of general reserves. This budget supports that position. Despite our constraints, you will see that we are able to set aside sums in specific reserves to support critical projects in which the Council is engaged, as set out in paragraph 15 of the report, including work on the Martlet Shopping Centre JV, the Parks Master Plan, cyber security, the district plan, and preparatory development work which flows from it. Homelessness remains a focus of our concern. The main causes of homelessness are domestic abuse, parental exclusion, and pressures from the private rented sector, which is declining. We will continue to provide affordable short-term relief through our continuing programme of temporary accommodation acquisition to meet the needs of vulnerable individuals and families. We have £2 million in this year's capital programme to support this work stream. As a council, we can be justly proud of our support in this area. This budget also sees additional capital investment in the district, with 3 additional bids in parking technology and infrastructure, as well as flood risk drainage, amounting to £1.2 million in total. It takes our total capital programme to £27 million. This corporate plan and budget went through several meetings of a politically balanced working party and was unanimously passed by Scrutiny Committee. I am grateful to those members across the Chamber who helped shape and produce the budget and corporate plan for us tonight. I hope they will continue to support it when it comes to the vote. I note that there is an amendment tabled which was not discussed in the working party or at Scrutiny Committee. When that amendment is moved, I would like to come back, Chairman, and speak again on that item at that point. But in the meantime, I propose this corporate plan and budget to council.
Thank you, Councillor Eggleston. Do we have a seconder for this?
Yes, Chairman.
Sorry, Councillor Hicks.
Yes, can I? Yes, I'm pleased to second the recommendation to approve the council's corporate plan and budget for 26-27. The proposed revenue budget and a 2.95% increase in council tax and the associated capital programme. Together, these measures support a balanced budget that provides effective, responsive services for our residents. The corporate plan has been prepared against a challenging backdrop of inflationary pressures and demand-led costs, which will continue to stretch the council's resources. And whilst the certainty provided by a 3-year funding settlement can be welcomed, the fair funding review has been anything but fair to this council. The government's final funding settlement, announced earlier this month, has made the position even more difficult. The amendment to the original proposals relates to assumptions referring to the council's membership of a business rates pool, and this has resulted in a loss of a further 1 million funding in both 27-28 and 28-29, compared with the original proposals in December. These are not speculative figures and are worth repeating. They are based on confirmed funding levels and are reflected in the revised medium-term financial plan. This now shows a deficit of just under 1 million in 2027-28 and over 2 million in 2028-29. Across the settlement period, the council now faces 4.8 million in reduced income, and without further protection in 29-30, as has been already stated, the council would be 6.4 million in deficit every year. Unlike previous years, these funding gaps are not the product of informed finger-in-the-air projections, but rather represent the cold reality of the funding environment this council must navigate. However, for 26-27, we've been more fortunate. The level of protection we've received is higher than anticipated, and combined with the council's strong performance in treasury management income, we are able to deliver a small surplus, which will be carried forward to reduce the deficit in the following year. This means for the coming year, we can safeguard services, keep increases in fees and charges to the minimum, including no increase in parking charges. At the same time, the council continues to invest in its capacity to work smarter and deliver efficiencies. Investment in modern software and automation is already improving productivity and enabling more user-friendly customer interfaces, including the new MSDC app, which expands the way that residents can contact and interact with the council. The budget therefore allocates funds to reserves to support priority projects, alongside new capital funding and further contributions to the general reserve. This strengthens our ability to protect services in future years, despite the financial headwinds created by the funding settlement, which will mean difficult decisions lie ahead. I would therefore like to echo the thanks expressed to officers for their diligence and professionalism in preparing this plan, and I commend the corporate plan and budget for approval.
Thank you, Councillor Hicks. Now, we would normally move to debate on this, and I have one Councillor Mear and Councillor Marsh waiting to speak. Councillor Mear was first. Councillor Mear?
Thank you, Chair. Now that you are closing the play area in Chaffin's Close and Saxby Road and forcing the young children to walk up to 30 minutes to other playgrounds.
Sorry, Councillor Mear, is this about the budget?
It is. Let me come to it, please. Thank you. To other playgrounds within the budget funds that are available, can I request that this area be cleared earlier than the second quarter so the young children can play safely on this informal open space? Thank you.
Okay, I think you've made a point. I think we can come to that later.
Sure.
Councillor Marsh.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'd like to propose amendment to the budget. Throughout the budget-making process, my group worked constructively with the ruling group and others. For the most part, we agreed on the end result. For the avoidance of doubt, it was the pressure from the Conservative group that there's no increase across the car parks this year, which has been successful for this financial year. During the scrutiny process of the budget, I asked for the income figures for the 6 to 8 time frame, Monday to Saturday. I couldn't put an amendment at that time because I didn't have those figures. The figures for East Grinstead are completely disproportionately high against the two towns within the district. Therefore, our amendment against the 26-27 budget seeks to remove the 6 to 8 charging schedule across all car parks in East Grinstead. The estimated loss of income of £62,000 can be funded by a £62,000 reduction to the £234,000 proposed deposit into the general funds in the 26-27, reducing the amount to £172,000. I move this amendment. I have a seconder.
And your seconder is?
Councillor Russell.
Councillor Russell, could you press your button? She has to. Thank you, good.
I second the amendment and just want to say that 2/3 of the revenue generated in the evenings comes from East Grinstead, the only town with a controlled parking zone, and the impact of this cannot be understated, where permit-holding residents reliant for parking on street now find themselves unable to park in their vicinity after 5 p.m. when restrictions are lifted due to the reluctance of other road users to pay the evening parking charges. And whilst an overnight permit was introduced, this has had minimal uptake as residents object to the notion of paying twice, which I'm sure we can all understand. And Chequer Mead volunteers are also impacted. By supporting this amendment, you would be supporting a minimal loss of income to the authority in return for a very positive outcome for East Grinstead residents and businesses. And as ward member, this isn't about being parochial, but it is about being fair. Parking in general is the gift that keeps on giving. For once, can we give something back to residents by supporting this budget amendment tonight? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Eggleston, you wish to speak on this?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. As Councillor Marsh will know, there's a parallel process in budget development, and so we in the Cabinet would argue that we took the position on a freeze on increasing tariffs this year, but we can obviously debate that at another time outside of this chamber. As I said in my opening remarks on the budget, this matter wasn't raised in any of the working party meetings or at scrutiny where the budget was endorsed unanimously. Also, as members know, the Council's parking strategy was agreed in 2020 under the previous administration. It is a comprehensive and strategic policy document which is being implemented across the district. And whilst it does cover the tariff regime in our car parks, it is also heavily focused on investment in technology, improvements to the physical car parks, and improvements to the car parking experience generally. Most of the immediate investment in our car parks is going to East Grinstead, and that does need money to support it. Evening parking charges have been part of that income mix for the last 12 months, but I do acknowledge that the lion's share of that income to date, 63%, comes from East Grinstead. That's, of course, a bit ironic when we were led to believe that evening charges would lead to a collapse of the town's evening economy, but I do acknowledge the share that East Grinstead is contributing. The next stage of the parking strategy will be to update its action plan, and this will go to a scrutiny committee during the next financial year. That will give members an opportunity to refresh themselves on the evidence which is supporting the parking strategy. I'm sure we all agree that it is best to take a data and evidence-driven approach to a strategic set of policies which are applied across the district. This amendment, as it stands, departs from that strategic approach as it only looks at East Grinstead, so I cannot support it in that form. Therefore, I wish to amend the amendment as follows, which would be after the words East Grinstead to add the words Haywards Heath and Burgess Hill. That then leads to a change in the loss of income from £62,000 to £97,500, which leads to a reduction in the proposed deposit to the general fund of £234,000 to £136,500. I hope you've captured all of those numbers. Finally, to add to the amendment, that the parking strategy action plan will be reviewed during the forthcoming financial year. By doing this, we treat all three towns equally and fairly with this amendment. Council should note that should this amendment be passed and form part of the budget, then to remove the evening charges, an amendment order will be required, so the changes will not come into effect immediately because we need to give notice. I would invite the movers and seconders of their amendment to see whether they are willing to accept that wording.
Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I am. I am willing to remove that. I'm hoping my seconder would as well. And I would like to second the leader's counter amendment. I do think it's the right thing to do. Obviously, the concern, as the leader has just said, the lion's share, as East Grinstead has suffered, but it's only right that the other two towns shouldn't have to pick up the burden as well. So I will second the amendment, and so, well, counter amendment, get confused now, to include all three towns. And I understand that the parking strategy will be coming to my colleague here as the scrutiny chairman, so that we can have a proper scrutiny of this action. Is my vice chairman, sorry, you're not my vice chairman, my seconder, is she prepared to accept us accepting the counter amendment?
Councillor Russell?
Yes, I'm prepared to accept the counter amendment. I just want to respectfully point out that the strategy in 2020 was approved by 44 in favour, 3 against and 4 abstentions. So it was pretty much cross-party. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Russell. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got in front of me.
Chairman?
Sorry?
Can I just reserve my right if there is a debate to finish it all off?
Indeed.
Thank you.
Indeed. I just think it's been quite complicated because we've got not a very straightforward proposal initially, or initial motion, which has been amended, and now we're seeking a second amendment. So I think it's really important that we're all clear exactly what's happening. And I'm going to ask Councillor Eggleston if he wouldn't mind reading out again, fairly slowly, the second amendment.
So in the amendment, after the words so if you go to the third paragraph, at the end of the first sentence of the third paragraph, after the words East Grinstead, we add the words, well, we add a punctuation mark, comma, Haywards Heath and Burgess Hill. We then change the figures from 62,000 to 97,500, and the reduction in the reserve goes down from 172,000 to 136,500, and then at the end we add the parking strategy action plan will be reviewed during the forthcoming financial year. Is that all right?
I hope that's reasonably clear. Good. Now we have to go to Rachel to seek her comment or approval on this.
Mr. Chairman.
Forgive me, sorry, Councillor Lucra.
Yes, sorry, Chairman. I think, actually, for clarity, because the way I read this amendment as tabled, paragraphs 1 and 2 are a commentary or a preamble.
Indeed.
They're not actually an amendment to the council's budget. And I think what the leader has just proposed is amending paragraph 3 and seeing paragraph 3 as the amendment. I think we should actually respectfully ask the movers of the amendment to remove the first 2 paragraphs, because they're not actually necessary to change the policy, they're a statement.
Yeah, it's a point I had noticed earlier on, but thank you very much for clarifying. Councillor, could you amend that or be clear about the amendment, Councillor Eggleston, please? They are commentaries.
Chairman, can I
I'm
possibly
not
help?
sure it's up to me. I think it's up to Councillor
As
Marsh.
we're the ones who moved it, it is customary when you make an amendment to justify the reasons why you're making the amendment. The actual amendment, as you could actually see in the third paragraph, says, therefore, our amendment is, not the other two paragraphs. So it's been a bit... But in the interest of spirit of working together tonight, I will take his comment and park it, and we'll go with the concession.
I think what we need is clarity. And
yes, the clarity is
third paragraph.
Is the actual amendment.
Yes.
The other one was leading up to the amendment. It does say that in the amendment. You obviously can't read that.
Well, let's not be pedantic, but thank you, Councillor Marsh. Can we... Sorry, somebody else?
Go to Rachel.
Rachel, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the proposed amendment is appropriate. May I also restate the importance of my previous advice to Council that is included in my statement on budget robustness at section 2B, in that it remains important that the Council maintains a general reserve at a minimum level, noting that the current position remains just over that advised. Thank you.
Thank you, that's helpful, Rachel, much appreciated. Now, can we move to debate on this, if anyone would like to make any observations or comments? Now is the time.
As nobody seems to be speaking, Chairman, I will go back to the substantive motion, which is... No, I'm not going to say that at all.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Councillor Gibson, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. Is there an election in the offing? On last Friday, I sat through a reform proposal which was all about taking away sandwiches for councillors attending county council. And it just seems that they'd thought of the one thing that stuck in their mind. And yeah, I voted for it, but it was kicked out. So we can say for that. The objection that I mean, I'm not going to. I'm going to let this go through, right? But I do feel that I want to say one really key thing about this. This administration has been implementing the parking strategy of the previous administration. We have been very clear that we have enhanced that by looking to add the things that the business associations want, like the East Grinstead Business Association want, and we've been working with them. In fact, this council funded the East Grinstead Town Centre Improvement Study, working with the Town Council and also the Business Association. And I have the report in my hand, and I know that isn't yet widely available, but I'll just read the section as to what it says on parking.
I think he's about to talk.
I'm going to read the section on car parking. Listen up, councillor, please. Parking requires further consideration. Parking was a divisive topic, with a mix of views, some prioritising ease of access and others concerned about traffic and oversupply. There was consensus that further analysis is needed to understand current usage and future capacity, particularly for short stay needs and visitor access. Better parking management, clearer signage and consistency in pricing and policy were frequently mentioned. And that is what this administration is delivering. And I just have a concern that, yes, taking £97,000 out of this budget will place pressure on our ability to deliver the way forward. There is nothing in this. I have seen nobody has come to me as an East Grinstead and county councillor for the area to say that 6 to 8 p.m. parking charges is a concern to them, that it is causing problems. And I just think this is quite simply electioneering, and it's a waste of time for this council. Thank you.
Point of order, Chairman. Actually, we raised an amendment back in 2024. I had a discussion with you the other day about the fact we're still waiting for ANPR, and it's well known that we've talked about the impact on Chequermead volunteers as a result of the 6 to 8 p.m. parking.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor de Bell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I do believe that a lot of people in East Grinstead feel that they are cash cows, and there isn't very much coming in their direction regarding this. And I would ask that what they say is you have to speculate to accumulate, and if we could have the car park, the multi-storey car park that this council promised and then reneged on, then maybe you might start to speculate, accumulate towards the end as well. I would like to see that happen, and I know that the people of East Grinstead would like to see that, and it would solve a lot of problems. It would stop the choking of the actual businesses in East Grinstead. It would take car parking off the roads, and it would provide you guys with the money that you're looking for all the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor de Bell. Councillor Mockford.
Thank you, Chair. As a trustee of Checkham Mead, I wholeheartedly welcome this amendment, following 1,600 plus that was paid by the theatre for their volunteers to volunteer at the theatre during the pantomime season. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mockford. Councillor Sweatman wishes to speak. Councillor.
Thank you, Chairman. I have to take umbrage with Councillor Gibson, especially as an East Grinstead Town councillor. He certainly doesn't appear to be standing up for the residents and the businesses of our town. He's actually said that he's not heard anyone complain about the 6 to 8 p.m. charges. Me personally, I'm always out in my community talking to businesses, popping my head in through the door saying, how are you doing? This, that and the other. They do complain. There is a large concern about these charges, and it is devastating our town. You know, the towns now are virtually struggling with this government's increases in employment charges, high energy costs, etc. So I think Mr. Gibson or Councillor Gibson needs to get out in the community a bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mear was first. Councillor Hicks after that.
Thank you, Chair. I absolutely will be supporting this amendment. I think it's fantastic because we're here working for the residents, for the people, and people are struggling all across our 3 towns. Businesses are struggling. I initially opposed this as well. The fact that our leader has further amendments, which includes Burgess Hill and Haywards Heath, I absolutely support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hicks was next.
Thank you, Chairman. As has been stated, the budget already includes the investment we need for the planned new technology for car parks. And the Council has introduced a number of concessions to ensure charges are levied as fairly as possible. If the Conservatives were generally concerned about parking charges, I would have expected them to have raised it in more detail at an earlier stage. We could have had a proper debate and a discussion, but clearly that didn't happen. And indeed, if they were concerned about parking charges in East Grinstead, the West Sussex County Council, I believe their charges are much higher. That was in the raised at their budget meeting. So I think this is electioneering. The budget already provides the provision to freeze car parking fees, and that was discussed by all parties. And I'm happy to support the suspension of evening parking across the district, not just for East Grinstead. And yes, we will have a chance to review that at the scrutiny. But as I've already highlighted, the council faces a significant deficit going forward into future years. And this is not, nobody likes to increase parking charges, but when faced with the dilemmas that we will surely have to review going forward to future years, then we clearly need to have this and other charges back on the agenda. So it's a case of putting off for the moment because we can afford it, but not in terms of following years.
Councillor, again, yes, Councillor Russell.
Again. For your information, Councillor Hicks, West Sussex County Council has a year-on-year deficit in terms of its on-street parking in Mid-Sussex, it makes no money. Overall, in combined with the seven districts, it makes an overall surplus, so it can mitigate it. But that actually equates to something like £208,000 per district, compared to Mid-Sussex, 2.3 million combined across all three towns. So don't tell me that West Sussex makes so much more money.
Thank you. Councillor Eaves.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just to say I would support this as well. There are people in Burgess Hill who've complained a lot about the 6 to 8 slot, and particularly people who go to meetings at 7 o'clock at Cypress Hall. So this will be very welcome to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Eaves. No one else wishes to speak at the moment, so can I ask Catherine to talk about process?
Thank you, Chairman. Just because it's quite complicated, this, so I just want to make sure we're all orientated. In fact, because the second amendment has been accepted, the two amendments have been merged into one. We only need to do one vote on the amendments. So what we'll do if we've concluded the debate now, which I think we have, is we'll move to the seconder, who is Councillor Marsh, who reserved his right. If he wishes to say anything further, he can. We then move to the mover of the original motion, which is the leader, if he wishes to say anything, and then we will vote, remembering everybody, this is by roll call, because this is our budget, okay? We'll vote on by roll call. Now, if the amendment is agreed, we then move back to an amended original motion. So the motion as moved is amended, and we can have a debate on that. Councillor Meir has already made a contribution. We have a debate on the amended motion, and then we move through a voting, which will be slightly different. I'm just going to explain it, because the seconder to the original motion, Councillor Hicks, has actually already spoken, so he doesn't need to speak again. The leader then gets a final right of reply, which one hopes will be brief, and we then vote. Sorry, Nick. And then we vote. And then we vote by roll call again. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it next. So we're going to go to Councillor Marsh, then the leader, and then we do the first vote by roll call, and then we go back for a wider debate on the amended motion, the amended budget, if we need to, yeah? And then we will just have one final speaker and then a second roll call. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I hope that's clear. Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Chairman. I won't labour the point, other than the fact I'm less than impressed with two cabinet members here today. Electioneering, you don't know where East Grinstead is, so don't even go there. And I'm
Point
sorry.
of order, Chairman.
I know you're the cabinet, you're district council.
I think we need to treat each other with respect.
Yeah, I'll try to, but he didn't treat us with respect. And I'm afraid, Councillor Hicks, 60% increase in East Grinstead against your 30% in Burgess Hill is not fair. And that wasn't part of the strategy, so don't go there. I was the chairman of that group, so don't go there. I support the Second Amendment. I think it's got quite wide consensus in this chamber, so I will not prolong it any longer, and I commend it to the vote. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marsh. Councillor Eggleston, do you wish to?
Just a couple of things. I mean, this has been an interesting debate. I know parking charges raises emotions quite clearly. Scrutiny Committee is going to review the parking strategy action plan. And I do encourage members, even if you're not on the Scrutiny Committee, to come to that meeting when it's called, so that we can maturely review the strategy and the evidence that sits behind it. Because I know that this chamber is a chamber that makes mature decisions based on data and evidence and not on emotion, number one. Number two, just to say that, of course, the income that is generated from car parking charges is by usage. So inevitably, if you have an area where the usage is higher, that income is going to be higher. But as I said in my remarks, I do acknowledge that the evening charges, 63% are being generated within East Grinstead, and there may well be some evidential reasons why that is the case, and that's what scrutiny committee could look at. I'm glad that we've reached a consensus on the amendment, and I think we just move to the vote.
Thank you. Can we hand this over to our monitoring officer, Julie?
Good evening, members. I'm going to call in alphabetical order, and I'd ask that you please clearly state whether you are for, against, or you abstain to the amended amendment before you. Thank you. Councillor Avery.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Bashir.
For.
Thank you. For. Councillor Bates.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor John Belsey.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Margaret Belsey.
For.
Councillor Bennett.
For.
Thank you. For. Councillor Brown.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Carvello. For. Thank you. Councillor Casella. For. Thank you. Councillor Chapman. For. Thank you. Councillor Cherry.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
For.
For. Councillor Cook. Thank you. Councillor Cornish.
For.
Thank you. For. Councillor DeBell. For. Thank you. Councillor Eggleston.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Eggleton.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Ellis. For. Thank you. For. Councillor Eaves.
For.
Thank you. For. Councillor Farron.
For.
Thank you, Councillor. For. Councillor Gibson.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Hatton. For. Thank you. Councillor Henwood.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Hicks.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Hitchcock.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Hobbs.
For.
Thank you. For. Councillor Hussain.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Jackson.
For.
For. Thank you. Councillor Kenny. For. Thank you. Councillor Knight. For. Thank you. Councillor Lucraft. For. Thank you. Councillor Marsh.
For.
Thank you. For. Councillor Mia. Councillor Mockford. For. Thank you. Councillor Phillips. For. Thank you. Councillor Platts. For. Thank you. Councillor Prescott. For. Thank you. Councillor Rees. Thank you. For. Councillor Russell. Thank you, Councillor. For. Councillor Sweatman. For. Thank you. Councillor Whittaker. For. Thank you. Councillor Wood. For. Thank you. Councillor Ziedler. Thank you, Councillor. For. And Councillor Kennedy.
For.
Thank you, Councillor. It's carried unanimously.
So we've approved the amendment, the second amendment, and we now move on to debate on the budget as amended. So we've had a contribution from Councillor Mear. Would anybody else like to make any contributions? Nobody? Then I think we'd like to... Oh, sorry, forgive me. Councillor Gibson.
Now back to sensible mode. The plan and budget underpins the sustainable economy strategy, but maybe it's the other way around. Sustainable economy strategy underpins the plan and budget. So we're looking for a vibrant district that's attractive, resilient and innovative, that balances social well-being with environmental protection and sustainable economic growth. And I think this plan and budget does all of that. Within my own portfolio, colleagues I've already talked about further investment in temporary accommodation. And it's extraordinary that a council not far away from us is having to spend 30% of its revenue budget providing temporary accommodation and borrowing to set a balanced budget. I'm fearful that their problems will become our problems if the government opts to select one Sussex Unitary Council option, placing unfair council tax increases on our residents. We are fortunate that both this administration and previous administrations have invested in temporary accommodation to avoid the pressures that high temporary accommodation costs place on other budget areas. Even so, the number of households in temporary accommodation has recently risen past the 100 mark, rivalling the high point we saw in September last year. And I therefore welcome the continuing investment that the £2 million will make possible in more temporary accommodation. I want to say a bit about new affordable homes, because we've seen a lot of new housing since the introduction of the NPPF 14 years ago. That growth has included a lot of affordable homes, the type of homes that the Westminster Government has identified as a key response to the housing crisis faced by young families. The district now has over 9,000 affordable homes, including some 900 during the first 3 years of this administration. And yet at the same time, the number of households on the housing register has risen past 2,600. That's a number that won't be addressed even if the 8,000 existing permissions that developers are currently sitting on were all built out. So the scale of the challenge is obvious. And finally, none of what we do is possible without our hard-working staff, who deserve our praise and thanks. We measure in thousands the homelessness inquiries that we receive each year and the planning applications that we process. We're facing an increased number of enforcement cases and appeals brought by disappointed developers who sense that they can push the planning inspectorate to approve the things that don't fit our vision. And we still found time to decarbonise our estate, to run challenges to inspire our students and fund skills training, including the opportunities that AI offers small businesses. I support the plan and budget, and I encourage all others to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gibson. Councillor Ziegler, did you wish to speak? No? Would any other member wish to speak? Councillor Cook?
Yeah. Thank you. In difficult circumstances, as we know, I welcome that we continue to be able to perform our statutory functions efficiently and to a high standard within a balanced budget, and that we are able to support all residents by providing community grants for local voluntary groups, activities for families, and wellbeing services that are invaluable as we continue in an era of cost of living and NHS crises. I am pleased to support this budget. Thank you.
Councillor Cook, thank you. If no other members wish to speak. Oh, Councillor Mear.
I've already made my point earlier.
Yeah.
Would I be able to get some clarification that this will be done in this budget year earlier than anticipated? Because the area is actually fenced round Cheffins Close, Saxby Road.
Yeah.
And the children's are, I've had an email this afternoon, in fact, saying how disappointed they are. It's been closed for nearly a year now. So if it's going to be just green space, then let it be, but open it up for the people.
Yeah, I think this is, rather than a comment on the budget, this is a specific question. Have you asked the Cabinet member responsible about this?
I'm just asking now, I'm seeking attention for the leader as well.
Well, do you want to answer?
Well, I mean, I can't off the top of my head, Councillor Mear. What I can say is that we'll undertake to give you a written response to your question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Mear. Councillor Marsh wished to speak.
Just very, very quickly. I mean, the question why Councillor Mayor said what he said is he raised that question on numerous occasions across the councils, but he only got the answer today from the question he asked in December. So he hasn't had a chance to ask Councillor Hobbs. So if we got the answers a little bit quicker, then we could possibly ask it at a different forum. It's just that when we ask questions, and it's not just confined to this side, we don't get the answers for months and months. And when it comes out on the day of this council meeting, it's unacceptable, to be perfectly honest, Chairman. It should have come out weeks and weeks ago, and then Councillor Mear could have asked that question offline, and we wouldn't have had that problem. That's why he's asked the questions today.
Thank you for clarifying. As no one else wishes to speak, the mover of the motion, our leader, Councillor Eggleston, do you wish to speak?
Just another 15 minutes, if I may. I move that the recommendations be voted upon.
Thank you, Councillor Eggleston. So can we move to a vote, again, personalised?
Good evening, members. Again, I will be coming to you alphabetically. I'd be most grateful if you could please clearly state whether you are for, against, or you abstain from this substantive motion, no amended. Thank you. Councillor Avery? For. For, thank you. Councillor Bashir? For. Thank you. Councillor Bates? For, thank you. Councillor John Belsey? For, thank you. Councillor Margaret Belsey? For. Thank you. Councillor Bennett? For. For, thank you. Councillor Brown? For. For, thank you. Councillor Covello? For, thank you. Councillor Casella? For, thank you. Councillor Chapman? For, thank you. Councillor Cherry? For, thank you. Councillor Clark? For, thank you. Councillor Cook? For, thank you. Councillor Cornish? For, thank you. Councillor DeBell? For, thank you. Councillor Eggleston? For, thank you. Councillor Eggleton? For, thank you. Councillor Ellis? For, thank you. Councillor Eaves? For, thank you. Councillor Farron? For, thank you. Councillor Gibson? For, thank you. Councillor Hatton? For, thank you. Councillor Henwood? For, thank you. Councillor Hicks? For, thank you. Councillor Hitchcock? For, thank you. Councillor Hobbs? For, thank you. Councillor Hussain? For, thank you. Councillor Jackson? For, thank you. Councillor Kenny? Thank you. For. Councillor Knight? Thank you. Knight. Councillor Lucraft? For, thank you. Councillor Marsh? For, thank you. Councillor Mia? For. Councillor Mockford? Thank you. Councillor Phillips? For, thank you. Councillor Platts? Thank you. Councillor Prescott? For, thank you. Councillor Rees? For, thank you. Councillor Russell? For, thank you. Councillor Sweatman? For. Councillor Whittaker? For, thank you. Councillor Wood? For. Councillor Ziedler? For, thank you. And Councillor Kennedy? Thank you. For. Unanimous. Set.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And perhaps before we move on to the next item, item 8, I could just put on record my thanks to those who've been involved in considerable discussions that have been going on over the past day or so to resolve the issues that arose, and particularly thanks to the officers who've been involved, who've been working extremely hard to get this all sorted out, copies printed and the procedure sorted out, particularly for me, because I wasn't quite sure, certainly wouldn't have been sure, how to take this through. I'm very grateful indeed. So thank you very much. And one thing that surprised me, hearing that it was to be possibly an amendment, is that there's no time deadline for amendments to be put in, which seemed to me rather strange. I looked at the Constitution, couldn't find anything. It seems they can be put in at the very last minute, which is perhaps something for discussion elsewhere. Let's move on, shall we, to item 8 on the agenda, page 97 of your papers, and this is the Community Governance Review and the final recommendations. This is being proposed, as I understand it, by Councillor Wood. Councillor Wood, do you wish to speak?
Yes, Chairman. Just very simply to outline what the proposals are, and then we'll go from there. So the three proposals that were discussed by scrutiny and were approved at the scrutiny stage were that Hayward North East remains part of Hayward Town Council and does not move to Linfield Parish Council, that Rocky Lane North and Rocky Lane South remain should move to Hayward Town Council, and the Hayward Town Council expands from 16 councillors representing 9 wards to 17 councillors representing...
The papers say 19.
Sorry, apologies, representing 5 wards.
Thank you. Councillor Lucraft, you're seconding this motion, I understand.
Yes, Chair, I reserve my right to respond to that.
By all means. Ladies and gentlemen, any debate on this particular topic? Councillor Marsh.
No, it's not. It's a debate on this. I'm proposing an amendment to the motion. This is a preamble. Okay. I have carefully reviewed the report and see that the panel considered all the consultation responses. As requested, the panel has included and recorded the observations made by the Scrutiny Committee. In concluding their observations, the panel recommended, on balance, the evidence supports a case for change leading to the recommendation that Rocky Lane North and South move from Anstey and Stapleford Parish Council. Taking into account all these findings of the two-stage consultation, I'm proposing the following motion. The deletion of sub-paragraph 3b, small 2, of the agenda item 8 on page 97, that Rocky Lane North and Rocky Lane South move to the Hayward Town Council from Anstey and Stapleford Parish Council, and replace it with the following new sub-paragraph 3b2, that Rocky Lane North and South remain within the Anstey Stapleford Parish Council and does not move to Hayward Town Council, and to maintain the equal balance of the electorate representation, sub-paragraph 3b, small 3, should be amended that Hayward Town Council expands from 16 representing 9 wards to 18 councillors representing 5 wards. Move that. Thank you. I have a seconder.
There's a seconder?
Councillor Knight.
Councillor Knight, you wish to speak?
I wish to reserve my right.
By all means. Now we can open this to debate, and I have Councillor Bates, the first speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I responded to the governance review and I indicated I would support whatever the recommendation was. So we now got the recommendation and I conclude with that. When I was first elected for Ashenground Ward, Rocky Lane was part of it, and Rocky Ward did not exist. It's only come forward in the last decade. Now it's part of my Ashenground Ward as a district councillor. And I assumed, and most people in this area, I mean, I've been here for 80 years or more, maybe, and I think people just assumed this was part of Hayward Heath. And in fact, people that now live in the Rocky Wards say they live in Hayward Heath. It's relevant to where they live. Anstey and Staplefield Parish is a very rural in its contrast, and I think that they should really revert to its country rural status, as they have been for decades, years, hundreds of years maybe. And Anstey has done well from the Rocky Lane development. It's managed to build a hall. It didn't manage to provide a room for the clerk for that parish, rather sadly. There are three. Great. There have been three clerks in the last 2 years since I've been involved with Anstar, and I go to their meetings. There's been numerous council resignations and replacements on that parish council uncontested elections. They have three good Rocky Lane councillors at the present time, but they should be subject to the democratic process. I should note that I was elected in a contested election. Thank you.
Councillor Bates, thank you. Councillor Avery's next.
Thank you. I just want to reinforce to a large extent the view of Parish Councillor Simon Stokes, who spoke earlier. There was a public consultation on this matter, at which most of the residents and parishioners wished to stay as part of Anstey and Staplefield. So I think we sitting here as councillors are here to represent the views of the democracy, democratic views of the parishioners, and therefore to ignore what has been put forward by the residents and parishioners of Anstey and Staplefield and Ashton Ground, that they want to stay part of the Anstey Parish Council. To totally ignore that is not democracy. So therefore, I suggest we go with the amended to leave it where it is. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Lucra. Thank you, Chair. I think there are a lot of issues here that we ought to take into account. Firstly, though, I want to thank the panel because in looking at the report, it's a substantial report. A large piece of work has been done by officers in putting together a lot of recommendations about what ought to be considered in this matter. It isn't a purely...
Isn't Councillor Lucroft the seconder of the original motion? Was he contesting my amendment? Or was he just...
I'm speaking against your amendment. Yes, I have the right to speak against your amendment.
Okay, then I'm going to speak against it when you get yours.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful. Councillor Lucra, would you care to continue?
Thank you. I assume this is the right way to debate?
Yes.
Thank you. What I would like to firstly thank the panel for the work, because I think it's a substantive document. It's considered a lot of the strategic issues as well as weighing up the views of residents. This isn't about a referendum. This is about considering strategic issues about how an area of population is governed in the best way, cohesion of that community, and the consideration of its circumstances. Now, the reason why we're discussing this evening is important to note, is because this issue was actually previously brought to the Council in 2022, but deferred because at the time a motion was brought by colleagues of Councillor Marsh at the Scrutiny Committee then to defer it on the basis of, and I quote, postpone to 2025 the proposed CGRs to consider administrative and electoral arrangements for Burgess Hill, Haverty Town Councils and consequential considerations for parish councils of Anstey, Staplefield, Linfield and Linfield Rural. This was seconded by Councillor Clark, proposed by Councillor Bradbury, who was a councillor at the time. And the reason for the delay specifically was to kind of give time and then bring it back to this council. So this isn't being brought at the instigation of any other organisation other than the council officers, then scheduled that review to take place, and that's why we are here today. In the report, the council, the officers have considered all of the issues about how this community should be represented. It's actually 3 developments rather than 1, as Councillor Stokes put in his letter. If you look at the way in which this area is developed, Councillor Bates just said it earlier, the first part of the development was done about 12 years ago and completed. That area connects with Hayward Heath across Rocky Lane. The other parts of the development, Virginia Drive doesn't connect with the Cedar Avenue development. It's aligned with it, and next to it on the east is the Fox Hill Village area, and the development to the south of that, which is also in Haywards Heath, around Cape Road. So there are a lot of other developments that have taken place that are also south of Haywards Heath, but are inside the town. The third development is the Rocky Drive development, and that is also separately connected into Haywards Heath. These developments together bring in an electoral population of approximately 1,200 people, and they are not in any way what you would consider to be a small village. They are urban developments that are a part of Haywards Heath. Indeed, I thought, as a matter of interest, I'd look at what the current descriptions provided by local estate agents are concerning these housing developments. Councillor McTaggart, I'll quote, describes Rocky Drive and the area around it as representing an area of Haywards Heath located off of Rocky Lane, which is the A272, which provides swift vehicular access to other parts of the town, and out to the A223 to the west. A series of paved footpaths giving pedestrians easy access through the town centre, and Bolnor Village and its protected woodland, providing wonderful walks for local residents. The town has an extensive range of shops, stores, restaurants, cafes, bars, sixth form college, leisure centre, schools, GPs, and it's well represented, and schools are well represented across the town. This area is a part of Haywards Heath. Anyone who thinks that people living there believe it to be part of Anstine Stapleton Parish is somewhat kind of, I think, not bearing into account what happens on a day-to-day basis for those residents who interact with the local community across Haywards Heath. Voluntary organisations, youth organisations, other community groups, all are part of a community network that people participate in. It is not easy to just say, oh, well, because the line was drawn on a map years ago, this area is still part of a large rural parish. That isn't right. And this report seeks to address that. The recommendations on pages 115 and 116 take into account all of the requirements of the review, to consider the governance requirements and look at what makes a community and comes up with a sensible way in which people can be governed. If you look at the map, actually on page 119, you can see how this area fits within the town. It's surrounded on three sides by other parts of Haywards Heath, and the dividing line between it and the rest of the Anstine and Stapleton parish is actually the north-south London to Brighton line. There is no means by which these people normally would have anything to do with small villages and hamlets that are the characteristic of the Anstine and Stapleton parish. So my opposition to the proposed amendment is that it does not actually deliver on the requirements of community governance review, which should take into account the more strategic issues and not just views and opinions. Although I would note that actually there's a large balance of views in both directions from the community. And indeed, the largest residents' association, which is based around the Cedar Avenue area, supports moving into Haywards Heath. And I think that if you look at that context, the only issue where I believe that some sympathy towards Anstine Stapleton Parish is appropriate is around the issue of finance. In that regard, Haywards Heath Town Council has already noted and would be prepared to discuss with the Anstine Stapleton Parish paying for any community assets that would be transferred across and trying to help them through that process. But this is the right way in which to try and address their financial problem by saying to residents that they would continue to be part of a small parish in order to keep it viable. That's not the way in which community governance review should operate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lucra. Councillor Cook wants to speak.
Thank you. I'd just like to reiterate everything that Paul's just said, Councillor Lucraft. And I would like to make a clarification regarding council tax. Contrary to what was claimed at scrutiny in January, the council tax precept would actually be considerably cheaper for residents within Haywards Heath rather than staying in Anstine Staplefield. It's very hard to find in the Anstine Staplefield Parish Council website, but on page 96 of the report for the budget, part of this meeting's papers, there is a schedule of Band D precepts across our parishes. These show Anstine Staplefield to be £94.55 and Haywards Heath £79.12. These matters are significant. You'd like to talk about price increases. We're talking about £94, it says 79. Also mentioned at scrutiny was that Haywards Heath likes to charge more than neighbouring parishes. The neighbouring parish of Anstine Staplefield, of course, would be Cookfield, with a charge of £176.40. I would like to say that for residents, Haywards Heath offers very good value. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cook. Continuing the debate on the proposed amendment, I have next Councillor Eggleston.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Just to pick up a point that Councillor Lucraft made, in that indeed, and I was there at the time, as were others, that these reviews were first initiated in March 2022. There were 5 parish reviews, the one for Rocky Lane North and South, and indeed the one for the Northern Arc, now Brookley, in Burgess Hill, were triggered because of the review of the district ward boundaries by the Boundary Commission. And as Councillor Lucraft has mentioned, Councillors Bradbury and Clark at that time moved a deferral of the Burgess Hill and the Haywards Heath reviews. Those of you with memories like mine will recall that Burgess Hill as a parish then launched a parish petition, and the rest, as they say, is history. So we're here discussing these proposals because we are bound by policy to do it. And we need to be clear about that. This hasn't been driven by Haywards Heath Town Councillors or any councillors on Haywards Heath Town Council. This is a policy review that we, as the principal authority, are duty bound to undertake. Anstine Staplefield Parish Council has been around, was formed in 1894, and a lot has changed since then. And a lot of the land leading up to Rocky Lane North and South at that time, and indeed later, that was part of Haywards Heath Urban District Council at the time, would have just been fields. But there has been, as we know, development at that time. And so in carrying out the review, officers in democratic services and an independent panel review evidence, and that evidence on a balance favoured moving Rocky Lane North and South from the parish of Anstine Staplefield to the parish of Haywards Heath. And the report at paragraph 5 sets out the 4 key principles which officers and the panel used to reach their conclusions and recommendations. And the principles are fair, impartial, and objective, and the review was carried out in that spirit. Of the 4 principles, the conclusion in 3 of them came down in favour of moving Rocky Lane North and South to Haywards Heath. As I said in the earlier debate, we are an evidence-based decision-making body. We should follow the evidence where it leads. The 4th principle was equally balanced between moving the boundary and not. The argument for change is crystallised in paragraphs 36 to 55. I know some of these points have been made, but I will restate them. Because my starting point is this, that Rocky Lane North and South are part of Haywards Heath wards on the District Council, not Anstey. They're also within the neighbourhood plan area of Haywards Heath, again, not Anstey. So the presumption surely must be that administratively they are part of Haywards Heath, and that presumption is only reinforced when you consider the setting, geography and connectedness of the developments in relation to Haywards Heath. And as Councillor Lucraft has said, any impartial observer looking at the area would naturally assume that these developments are an extension of the town and not a distinct and separate community. And that's because they are not separate. And if you look at the map of Haywards Heath, you will see that they are surrounded by Haywards Heath on three sides. Now, Anstey puts forward an argument that its parish consists of a series of small villages, hamlets and farmsteads. And I agree with that view. But by no stretch of the imagination can you regard Rocky Lane North and South, those developments, as either a village, hamlet or farmstead. They are contiguous with the town, almost surrounded by it, and residents look to it and not Anstey for their needs and services on a day-to-day basis. It strikes me, therefore, that the evidence clearly supports the recommendation for change. And so, in conclusion then, in order to manage that change, I would encourage Haywards Heath Town Council and Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council to work together so that the Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council can be supported through this period of change. And I therefore support the recommendations and not the amendment. My final comment, of course, is that it would also be perfectly in order for Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council to consider alternative governance arrangements of its own for the future security of its parish.
Councillor Ferguson, thank you. Next to speak, I have Councillor Ellis.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to clarify something, because we just heard Councillor Lucraft, and I know Councillor Pascoe's not here, but they were at a scrutiny committee where this was on, and it said that they would look at addressing finances that may have been lost through Anstey and Staplefield. I did a further scrutiny say, what does that look like? Because we're talking about finances, and I'm just a bit confused how this has ever been discussed at Haywards Heath Town Council, which I've been the long-standing member on, of anything that the Town Council has agreed to address that, apart from that it's been verbally spoke about at different various meetings. Thank you.
Well, I'm not on Haywards Heath Town Council, so I can't help. I don't know if anybody wants to intervene on that point. But Councillor Lucraft, quickly on that. I'll come to Councillor Cornish next.
What's being talked about was discussed at the last Policy and Finance Committee, and I raised the point because it had been raised in scrutiny, and the Town Council is prepared to put some money aside in its budget to be able to help with this process. The detail of it needs to be worked out, as the leader of the council just suggested, by the Town Council and the Parish Council working together. I think that that's the appropriate way to try and help them through this process. I do think that the Town Council is not trying to cause Anstey and Staplefield a financial challenge. There is 12 months before this boundary changes will take effect, so it's not going to impact on the 2026-7 budget. Thank you.
Councillor Lucraft, thank you. Thank you for waiting. Councillor Cornish, did you want to speak or not? Please go ahead.
Do I need to press my button?
You do.
I've been removed.
Then try again.
Thank you, Chairman. Slightly left field point, if I may. If Rocky Lane developments move to Haywards Heath Town Council from Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council, Will the train signs be redirected to Haywards Heath, please? Because at the moment they're directed to Wivelsfield train station, which cannot cope with such developments using Wivelsfield train station. And I think if they are to move to Haywards Heath Town Council, they should be directed to Haywards Heath train station. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cornish. Well, I think we need to wait the outcome of this debate before we make any points like that. No other councillors wish to speak, so can I revert to Councillor Knight, the second of this amendment motion? Do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Chairman. Oh, hang on, I've pressed your button. Yeah, if I can just address some of the points first of all. First of all, the father of the council, Councillor Bates's points. Parish councillors are elected. Councillor Bates, they are elected every 4 years. And we ought to thank this development there for the Anstey Community Centre, if you're correct on that. So that's a point on that. First, I want to thank Simon, the Chair of Anstey Parish Council, for his statements and questions. Clearly, the position of the Parish Council is to maintain the status quo. They already lost significant precept funds from other recent transitions, and any further precept loss will put significant strain on their already committed resources. I possibly can see why Haywards Heath Town Council would want Anstey's proportion of their precept, but I suggest it is very hard to see there will be any improvements to residents affected, as the money will just fall into their big pot. And I guess there'll be no effective improvement in governance. If I may dissect the panel's reasons for change, firstly the one, strong community ties, well, the houses are not physically moving. They're still in the same place. I would suggest they would continue to use the same services as present. In terms of the district and county boundaries, in my opinion, considering any change here is premature. With so much going on with local government review, unitary authorities, etc. to follow, who knows where we'll be in a year's time. Council tax fairness, well, as Councillor Cook pointed out, there is a little bit of disparity, but I work out as perhaps a cup of coffee a day. But with the recent Haywards Heath Town Council tax rises, I think something like 30% over the last 3 years, I suggest they'll soon be catching up. And public support, well, the residents actually voted against any change. A couple of things members might also want to consider. One, a very minor point, the Haywards Heath Town Council chamber will struggle, and I have been a member of that council a few years ago, will struggle to get any more members in that chamber. And I know they're thinking how they're going to achieve this with going from 16 to 19. But a second point, members might recall at the last town council election, 2 years ago, was it? Yeah. I believe we were the only party to get a candidate for all seats in Haywards Heath. And with 3 additional seats, it might be a further struggle to find suitable candidates for all parties. Finally, and most importantly, democracy must prevail. You've got your 4 ward councils representing Anstey are against change. The parish council itself is against any change. West Sussex County Council is against any change. And at the top of the list, the residents have said no to any change. I urge members, please, to support the amendment. Thank you.
Councillor Knight, thank you. The process now is that I ask the mover of the original motion, right of reply, Councillor Wood.
I reserve my right to reply.
Well, you can speak now on the amendment.
Just to say that I'm still in support of the original proposal, so I'm against the amendment personally, and I don't have anything more to add following the debate.
That's fine, thank you. So we can move now to the vote, and it's on the buttons. Julie Garvin, is it set up to do that? No. Remember, just to be, can I be quite clear? This is a vote on the proposed amendment, proposed by Councillor Marsh and seconded by Councillor Knight. That's what this vote is about. If you're for that, then you press the green button. If you're against it, you press the red button. If you're abstaining, you press the yellow button.
Chair, my screen hasn't changed. It's still locked onto your name.
Just bear with, bear with.
It's just Councillor Wood that has a problem, is it?
Didn't say this last time. Okay. Do you want to do it?
Start again.
Shall we start again?
It's do the same thing as last time, so we might have to do.
Guys, sorry, let's just keep order. So guys, sorry, what are you saying?
There's two members that can't vote, so we're going to try and rerun it again and see if it does it this time.
Okay, and if it doesn't, we'll revert to old school. Okay. Let's try again, everybody. Just let's clear it first. Nesh, is that okay? So vote again, everybody. Let's see if the system works for us.
No, it's not changed.
Could you roll call?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
I don't think it's working, is it? Okay, well, let's resort to old school members. So Julie will do it by roll call, just as we've just done before, okay, for clarity. So for, against or abstain when your name's called. Thank you.
Councillor Avery. For. Thank you. Councillor Bashir.
Against.
Against. Thank you. Councillor Bates. Against. Councillor John Belsey. For. Thank you. Councillor Margaret Belsey. For. Thank you. Councillor Bennett. Against. Thank you. Councillor Brown. Abstain. Thank you. Councillor Covello. For. Thank you. Councillor Casella. For. Councillor Chapman. For. Councillor Cherry. Against. Thank you. Councillor Clark. For. Thank you. Councillor Cook. Against. Thank you. Councillor Cornish. Against. Thank you. Councillor DeBell. For. Thank you. Councillor Eggleston. Against. Thank you. Councillor Eggleton. Against. Councillor Ellis. For. Councillor Eaves. Against. Councillor Farron. For. Councillor Gibson. Against. Councillor Hatton. Against. Councillor Henwood. Against. Thank you. Councillor Hicks. Against. Councillor Hitchcock. Against. Councillor Hobbs. Against. Thank you. Councillor Hussain. Against. Thank you. Councillor Jackson. Against. Thank you. Councillor Kenny. Against. Thank you. Councillor Knight. For. Councillor Lucraft. Against. Thank you. Councillor Marsh. For. Thank you. Councillor Mia. For. Thank you. Councillor Mockford. Abstain. Thank you. Councillor Phillips. Against. Thank you. Councillor Platts. Against. Thank you. Councillor Prescott. For. Councillor Rees. Against. Thank you. Councillor Russell. For. Councillor Sweatman. 4. Councillor Whittaker? 4. Councillor Wood? Against. Councillor Ziedler? 4. And Councillor Kennedy? Against. Thank you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24. I make that 18, 20. I make that 18 for, 24 against, and 2 abstain. Let's just check what. Just the centre just didn't count up for me. I think so. Just 2 seconds.
Just checking.
Just checking. Four against. 18 for, yeah. 24 against. 2 abstain, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Announce the result.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience, members. So it's 18,184, 24 against and 2 abstain. So the amendment falls. Thank you.
Motion which is set out, again, as you've seen, I'm sure, page 98 of your papers, item 8 on the agenda. Councillor Marsh, you want to speak?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Chairman. I have nothing but utmost admiration for the officers who put this together. It's not an easy one, but I'm going to take a couple of things that were said during the, which I couldn't, obviously, I moved the motion, I couldn't say anything, so I can now. The leaders just said Anstey Staplefield can, in time, review their own governance in future. Well, we know this is not an easy process. It can take years. So we may not even be around in that a year's time. But while we were going through the debate, I had a quick look and see how many people actually live in Anstey Staplefield. It's 1,756. I think Councillor Lucroft said he's going to take about 1,200 of them. So that means there's only going to be 556 left in Anstey and Staplefield. Oh yeah, I know it's a small parish now because they hived off a load to the Northern Ark. You now just whipped a load of them into Haywards Heath to prove their coffers. So 556. That is making the parish council an unsustainable organisation under the local government. Now, don't say a word yet. I just think this is slightly unfair because the leader suggested they could review where they go hereafter. That's not going to happen in 27, 28, because I think we're probably still going to be here for another year. They're going to be bankrupt. A parish council are going bankrupt because they cannot fulfil the obligations that they've got. And I know Councillor Lucroft said, we will help you. That's now. But come 27, 28, he's going to want all the money himself. So I just cannot see how this could be classed as fair. I know my amendment failed, but I'm just going to let you think about this. You are reducing a parish council to just over 500 residents. Well, you said 1,200.
Can you just address the point and make your
I just felt the amount of stuff going into Haywards Heath reduces the hamlets, and yes, they are hamlets. There's Brook Street, there's a little bit around Broad Hill, there's in my ward, which is Staplefield, and in the ward of Anstey, which is in Councillor Knight and Councillor Avery's ward. So that's all that's going to be left. I just cannot see how a parish council can function within the restraints that we're going to do today, and there's no chance for them to start a process of going elsewhere because it takes longer than a year, and we will not get that done before 27, 28. So just want you to think about that, what you've just voted for. You've just killed off a parish council. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Marsh, thank you. Councillor Eggleston.
Thank you, Chairman. So just to put some context around timing for those who remember, in March 2022, when the policy was that the review for the Haywards Heath part of Anstey Staplefield and the Northern Arc part of Anstey Staplefield, when the decision to defer was made in March 22, Burgess Hill Town Council initiated its parish petition. So March 22, they initiated the parish petition. In October 22, the recommendations came forward as a result of that parish petition to transfer the Northern Arc from Anstey Staplefield to Burgess Hill Town Council in time for the May 2023 elections. So I think there is time. Clearly, what Anstey Staplefield Parish Council will need to do if we pass the recommendations tonight is to go away and think about where it fits as a rural parish in the context of other rural parishes in the area. What I would also say, because Councillor Knight made the point about local government reorganisations, and in a way it's a fair point. However, what I would point out, let's assume, for argument's sake, that we end up in local government reorganisation with two unitary authorities, so this part of the world being Mid Sussex, Horsham and Crawley. There will be 54 town, parish and community councils of all shapes and sizes within a unitary authority. And it defies belief to think that a unitary authority will be able to manage relationships with 54 town, parish and community councils. There will inevitably be, at some point in the early life of that unitary council, that it will want to look at governance reviews, because inevitably you will see divisional boundaries that elect to the principal authority. You will inevitably see those change as borders between Mid Sussex, Horsham and Crawley may well change. So change to the parish structure is going to come in the future. And I think there's an early opportunity, if we pass these recommendations tonight, there's an early opportunity for Anstey and Staplefield Parish Council to go away and think about how it fits within that framework of rural communities that it is closer to in terms of its identity.
Thank you, Councillor Eggleston. Councillor Lucraft, just before you speak, this is your right to reply, I assume. As a seconder to the motion.
If nobody else wants to speak, I'll come back to that. Yeah.
Well, let me just check that nobody else wishes to speak. Councillor Cook.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm being the statistician today. Your figure for the population of Anstey and Staplefield seems to date from 2011. I think a lot of the new development has happened since then. And I've just looked up on a website called City Population. And it says Anstey and Staplefield parish in South East England, population in 2024, 3,332. So whatever it is where the boundaries are drawn, that does say the parish. It may be that your figures don't include the new houses. So, no, I'm just to say that those figures may not be accurate. They may not.
Thank you. I think help on the figures is useful. So anyone else wishing to speak before Councillor Lucraft exercises his right to reply as a seconder to the motion? No? Councillor Lucraft.
Thank you, Chair. I think I can actually help out Councillor Marsh. If you look at page 120, the order paper, it actually tells you that the current expected electorate for the remainder of that parish is 1,290. Thank you. Okay. Notwithstanding that, I actually think his point is a good point that actually, and I would like to reiterate what I said before, which is I think that Haywards Heath Town Council would be prepared to work with the parish of Anstey and Staplefield to ensure that there's a smooth transition and also to help them out with financial issues that they will undoubtedly face. And I do think that's also one of the reasons why this needs to move ahead is because of local government reorganisation, so that our towns and parishes within Sussex know what the current status that they are is for them, so that they can help in working with the new unitary structure to ensure that our residents get the best outcomes for their local communities. I do think that's a general message that I think we should all encourage between towns and parishes, is working together on local issues, particularly where parishes may benefit from neighbouring towns in delivery of service to their communities. There's a lot to be gained by all of Mid-Sussex communities working together, and particularly to ensure that in reorganisation that they're not neglected and don't suffer any adverse consequences from the LGR. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lucroft. The procedure is now that the proposer or the mover of the motion has a right to reply. Councillor Wood, do you wish to say anything?
I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. Now, is there... I think we can move to the vote. I'm not sure if the system will work for us.
Okay, we're going to try. So we're going to try again with the touchscreens, members. If you'd like to try to vote for, against, or abstain, it's working.
Yeah, in favour of the original one. How are we doing? I think we're still short. Oh, I think we've got them this time.
Okay, we're good?
All good.
Okay.
Julie, would you care to announce the result?
It's up on the screen, Julie.
Thank you, members. So, final recommendations. We have 25 yes, 17 no, and 2 abstain. Therefore, the original motion and recommendations stand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. So we can now move on to item 9 on the agenda. This is the interim report of the Constitution Working Group, which is the 3 pages towards the end of your bundle. 185 is where it starts. This is to be proposed by Councillor Marsh.
Thank you, Chairman. I feel like a jack in the box. We're very, very sorry, Chairman, we didn't debate about in our Constitution Working Group the timings of putting an amendment in, but it's a political decision when an amendment can go in. It happens all across, from that lot across the water in Europe, in Parliament and in this chamber. We decide when we're going to put amendment in, as did when your party was in opposition. They did it exactly the same on the day. I had the decency to speak to the leader when I was going to put our amendment in, so I think I played the game. So
I'm sure people were very grateful for your decency.
thank you. But the Constitution Working Group, back to the Constitution Working Group, it was a cross-party group, not just my group and your group. We had Councillor Eves in there, and a very good contributions that she made as well. And all the stuff that we put in was needed to be put in to secure the Burgess Hill to go through. We've got another. You're going to come back again in March for the second part of the Constitutional Working Group, but it was unanimously decided at that time, and I moved the recommendation, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Councillor Eggleston, I believe, is seconding.
I am indeed, thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'm happy to second. These are some minor changes to the Constitution, but it means that we are more agile in the development work on the Martlet Shopping Centre joint venture by these delegations. So I second the report.
Thank you, Councillor Eggleston. Do you wish to have a debate on this? Would anybody like to make any observations or comments? I think it seems that nobody does, so we can move to a vote. Julie, can we try the buttons and hope they work again?
Okay.
That's it?
Nash, okay?
Okay. Then the result, Julie, we can see on the board at the back.
Thank you, members. That's unanimously carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that brings us to the end of the agenda and the end of the meeting. Could you stay in place, please, whilst the live stream is closed down? Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.